What's good, folks? This is Chris Crazy House, and I'll be drawing my butt off. This is the segment of my channel where I like to explain and give you guys some insights into the process when I do my digital and traditional art and animation. So today what we're going to be doing is a digital art piece that I drew and then vectorized of Little Jason Voorhees. And for those who are fans of Friday the 13th, the movie series, I think you guys will enjoy this. So stay tuned as we draw Jason Voorhees from start to finish, and I'll give you some ideas of how I came up with this piece. Let's hit that intro music. Here we are, folks, back in the house. Just to let you know, if you enjoy this segment and enjoy my channel, please go ahead and subscribe, like, and share this video. And join me, as always, in the comments section or in the live chat. So, how I came up with this is because basically I'm just a huge horror fan. I've always been a big fan of horror movies, and especially the Friday the 13th series. I grew up with it, not just watching the movies but also playing the video game on the NES. So I wanted to do another picture of Jason. I've done one before of an adult Jason chasing a girl down in the woods, and I wanted to do another one, and I had a kind of an idea or a concept to do the little Jason. So Jason Voorhees, when he was still a child, hanging around Crystal Lake. For those of you who know the lore and the story, Jason was a boy with deformities, and I believe he was a mongoloid, and he was swimming in Crystal Lake, and the camp counselors were having relations and not watching him, so he accidentally drowned. And that is what drove Jason's mother, Mrs. Voorhees, to go on a killing spree in the original Friday the 13th movie. And you only discover this by the end. And of course, there's that amazing jump scare at the end of Friday the 13th where Jason's corpse comes out of the lake and grabs the last girl and drags her down under the lake. So I wanted to do something like that and create a piece of this kind of scary child version of Jason under the water attacking you. And as you can see here, I came up with it in my sketchbook, as the great group Rage Against the Machine says. It started with a sketch in my notebook. I just did, little thumbnails, and anytime I have a little idea, I just draw it in there. And I came up with this one right around the beginning of quarantine, right before everything shut down. I was just kind of sketching around in my notebook and drew this out. And I decided to pull this sketch out of here since it was Friday the 13th this week and make something of it. Make some full art of it. So that's what you guys can do as well. If you always have a good idea, take it out of the sketchbook and render it out, and you might come up with something great. So I start out by bringing the thumbnail sketch into Sketchbook Pro, and I bring it in there, and then I just kind of go over it with some pencils. This process is basically just me kind of tightening up the thumbnail sketch so it's a little bit more concrete, and I know what I'm doing when it comes to inking this project, and also just setting the parameters for where I'm going to put the digital color. So I always like to use Sketchbook Pro because it's a great program, just very loose, and you can import any type of image in there and trace over it, or even if it's just a picture or if it's something you drew from before, and it's just really easy to go in there and tighten things up. And the main thing was just getting Jason himself tightened up and getting the hands kind of reaching out toward you almost in like a 3D way. If you think about Friday the 13th 3D that came out. So yeah, that me tightening up, making the setting kind of under a dock, and you can kind of see him under the dock kind of coming at you, and like maybe little bits of seaweed kind of coming up, a couple of bubbles here and there. So this is just the basic idea of what I want to do as far as what I want to see in the final drawing. Obviously, because it's digital, I'll be able to manipulate it a little bit later on, as long as I keep everything on a separate layer. So going on to the digital aspect, I bring the project into Flash, and I love using well, I guess it's not Flash anymore, is it? It's Adobe Animate. So I bring it into Animate. I've already inked it, which is a very tedious part of this whole process, but it takes time. That's why I didn't waste time filming it. And now I'm just showing you how I put in the flat colors first. So all the basic skin tones, his clothes, his pants, all the basic flat tones are put in there. And then I go forward and I put in the extreme darks. So anytime I do horror or fantasy, I always like to have a layer just of like the really hard darks, especially when you're doing a scary piece like this. You want to have those hard shadows that are going to be in there. So all the hard darks go in first, and then I have a second layer of softer shadows that go over that. So that just adds an extra layer and extra depths when you do things like that. And you can do as many layers as you want. That's the great thing about doing stuff digitally. As many layers of shadows and highlights as you want. This piece is only going to have very simple highlights here and there because he's underwater. So you kind of see maybe a little bit of sun that's catching him as he's underwater, and just like kind of like the top parts. Just to kind of, and it fleshes out things and gives you a little bit more of a well-rounded image. Then I go in and do the dock. I color the dock in, and like I said, that the background elements are very simple. For them, I kept them kind of flat. I do separate colors, so you see how I have things kind of sectioned off here for the docks and the seaweed, and I use kind of different colors for different color grass, and I'll make a little bit darker here and there to kind of give the illusion that there's a shadow. I copy, save it, duplicate it, and that way you have multiple bits of seaweed there. Same thing here for the water. The water, I use just a simple gradient, and once I achieve the colors that I want, I stretch that gradient out, and then I hit the opacity so you can see through it, and that way you can kind of see through it, and it looks kind of like someone's underwater. And I add a second layer of that behind Jason, so that way it gives a more fuller look and a more submerged look underwater. And I make sure the layers work together with the dock and everything, and I do some color correction. I save Jason all together, all of his layers together, so we don't have any problems. I make some bubbles here and there coming out of his mouth, so it gives that creepy look of something that's alive coming towards you underwater. And here we have it, folks, our final piece, the final finished piece here. All the colors have been corrected to make it look a little more blue and ominous. And we have little Jason here coming at you in the water. So that's the final image, folks. I hope you guys really enjoyed this process and seeing how I draw this. So if you enjoy seeing me draw my butt off, I'll be doing more of these segments, a lot more, because it's basically all I do all day, every day. So if you enjoy it, please once again subscribe to this channel. And if you love my artwork, go and purchase some of my coloring books on Amazon.com. I will provide the link in the description box. You can go to Amazon.com/author/Chris Crazy House, and all my coloring books will be available right there for you guys to buy. You can go pick those up today. They're a great gift for the holidays. Anyway, guys, once again, I hope you enjoyed this. I had lots of fun doing this segment. I'll be doing a lot more and giving you more insights into my ideas and my process of creating things and drawing my butt off. So, hope you enjoy, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Chris Crazy House signing out. Peace.